Right, guys, bringing you another model kit review of one of my builds, and this time it's going to be an oldie but a goodie. This is the Brutish Dog ATM09GC from Takara. This is from the animated series Votoms, which is a series that started in the 80s about armored troopers fighting a never-ending war. And this kit is over 30 years old. I finished it last year. It was actually started by my brother a very long time ago, and then lost in a closet in a box somewhere for many, many years after that. And I found it last year and decided I was going to finish it. And here's just a look at the instructions, some of the detail, massive decal work for such a small kit. It had well over, I want to say 30, 40 decals scattered all over the body. So let's take a look at it. Okay, here we have the completed model. If you're a fan of the series, you'll know the Brutish Dog was actually almost a pink or salmon type color. I decided, since my brother was making this a custom battle damaged version when he started it all those years ago, that I would finish it off in the standard green, olive drab, and gray color scheme of most of the other Votoms scope dogs, as I think that looks a little more realistic than a salmon colored armor trooper. The build of this kit was, well, it's a kit from the 80s, so it is what you would expect a kit from the 80s to be. The fit wasn't perfect. There were quite a few seams to fill. But overall, it is extremely well detailed. Let's see if we can focus in on that. As you can see by the rivets, the molds were very nice. All the detailing was very crisp. The visor itself, as you can see, with the camera eyes, very well done. Takara was very good at molding these kits. Now, there were very many seams to fill. Some of them which I didn't really didn't even bother filling, as they just look like panel lines. While the rest, I filled in as much as I could. The worst of which was on the head of the armor trooper, where this was two halves. That for some reason they decided they would have the seam line right down the middle, so that you could attach, instead of making it one complete part, they had two parts with a seam right down the middle in the most obvious place possible. So that had to be completely filled and sanded smooth so that it would appear to be one solid part. Now, as you can see, there's all sorts of custom work on this kit, such as all the battle damage, armor torn, all the paint chipping. There's blaster marks or impact marks all over the bot's body. This guy was in a fight, which he won by the slightest of margins. Here we have the gun arm, which has been pretty much almost severed from the main body. The antenna assembly ripped out of the head. this really was a fun build, and doing all the custom battle damage also was something that was part of the fun. If you'll take a look at the interior here, let's see if we can get a nice shot of that. There are a bunch of photo etched custom parts. The control panels are all made with photo etch parts. As far as the cockpit of the bot, this is basically all it was. It was just a floor with the lower torso of the pilot, the upper torso, the arms, and 2 walls and 1 control panel. The problem with that is that as the torso, let's see if we can find the instructions, give you a little look-see at that. A little look back in time. The cockpit mounted into the torso, and if you looked in with the hatch open, you could see that the pilot had no legs, and I really wasn't thrilled with that. So what I did, I created actual control panels. I scratch built those, added some photo etch controls, which covers the area where his legs are. I don't know if I can give you a good look at that, so that you won't see the legs just being molded as part of the floor. And you can also see other photo etch parts which are added to the back behind him, just to fill out more detailing in the cockpit. This kit was one that lent itself well to a bit of extra detailing. Even inside the helmet, there were also more photo etch parts in there, just to see if we can give you a little look in there. Just add a little more high-tech detailing to the interior. The pilot is painted in the uniform colors of the main character, Chirico. Let's see if we can focus on here properly. And there you can see all the chipping effects in the paint, all the weathering. Really enjoyed this build, as it was just a fun exercise in weathering and damage and destruction. Here you can see the leg ripped, the armor ripped off, and some of the wiring and cabling inside the leg. The arm torn. Tons of little details like this added. 1 finger missing from the hand. Overall, if you can get your hands on one of these original Takara kits, they are a fun build. There are larger scale versions of this kit, as by the size of my hand here, you can see how small this little guy is. And there are larger versions of this kit available, made with newer tooling, but if you can get your hands on this, I would recommend it, as it is a fun little kit and a really enjoyable build. And really does open itself up nicely to all sorts of custom work. Even at a small scale of 1/35. So that's it for this review of the Takara 1/35 scale brutish dog from the series Votom Armored Troopers. It's an 80s kit which is just as much fun today to build as it was back then. So I guess I'll see you on the next one. Enjoy!